live we are. Welcome to Mondo, the first episode of this series today. Yes, and look for every Thursday when we come back with a different textile artist. Today we have a very special guest, Liz Sincere. She's going to be here in a second. And I just want to tell you that we are live always for the reason that we love when you interact. Wherever you're watching, there is a chat or a comment box. So ask questions there. I will get here, ask Liz, and she will answer directly to you. This is a great opportunity. Before we dive into the interview itself, let me tell you what Mondo is. We decided to invite textile artists from all over the world. They work with a medium called Paverpol. Paverpol is a product that you can work with any type of fiber and textiles, and it hardens, so it's like a textile hardener. It hardens them. In the case of Paverpol, you can also use this, whatever you create, whatever sculpture, wall piece that you create, you can also leave that in the weather, meaning it can become garden sculptures, for example. So it's a very interesting product. It's very popular in some countries. Here in the US, not so much, but we took the job. We want to get the word out about Paverpol as well, so you can get to know how to use this in what you make as art, okay? And we plan to be here almost every Thursday. There is a Thursday we have another event at Curious Mondo that we are not going to have, but bring a different artist for you. It's a limited time series, so it's not going to go on forever. It's not a podcast, but I think you will enjoy very, very much. Every time we are going, of course, to talk about the artists. We are going to show some pieces, and they are going to talk a little bit about the process. We have some city tours and studio tours as well as very small tutorials, but where you can really get in touch with how to use these products. I think you are going to enjoy a lot, right? We start at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, so if you are in another country, as many of you are, Google the right time so you are here. And always go to curiousmondo.com, upcoming events, and you are going to see when we have a different interview, okay? Basically, those are my announcements. So now I want to welcome Liz Sincere from Montreal, Canada. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here for this first episode. Liz, I would like to start with you giving a brief introduction about yourself and telling me when did you get in touch with art and you thought, I think I like this?
I got in touch with art since I was a teenager, and we really always used to draw, and just black and white back then, though. And I learned watercolor when I was 23 years old, I think. So I've been an artist, a watercolor artist, for 45 years. So it's really been in me for such a long time. I discovered, I continued to do watercolor for a long time. I did portraits, actually, lots of children portraits, and I had commissions for those. So I did that for at least 15 years. And then I decided to work towards another kind of subject. So I did watercolor and canvas, which became more abstract looking a bit and more free. I did that for many years until I discovered Paverpol. And Paverpol, I call it my infinite medium. And I call it really the infinite room in which I am, because it is infinite what I do with it. I have constantly ideas to work with Paverpol. So that's in 2008 when I discovered it. I became a distributor in 2010 in Quebec, and now I'm the importer for Canada until 2015-16, I think. So it's really my favorite medium right now. Sometimes I want to go back to watercolors, but I'm not finished with finding new ideas and experiences with Paverpol. So I think it's not something that I'll stop at all. It's an infinite medium for me.
Big jump for you, right? Because you were doing watercolor, which it's a 2D approach, and then you went to the sculpting part. So there had to be a huge jump in how you perceive how to translate your stories into art, correct?
Yes, correct. And I found that it was easier for me to sculpt I don't know why it was easier. Like I felt freer. Watercolor is one of the most difficult mediums. That may
Yes.
be why. And sculpture, you just start and working with 3D. I had been wanting to work on 3D for such a long time, though, but I wasn't sure what kind of medium. I thought that, the bronze is lots of stages that before you do a bronze, and it's very costly. I know
Uh-huh.
some bronze artists that work like that, and that's what they told me. And other kind of wood. I didn't see myself sculpting with wood or anything. I find that Paverpol sculpture is easy. It's an
Uh-huh.
easy medium, and you can develop your own style with it as any other medium. I think it's a medium still. It's like acrylics. You have
Yeah.
acrylics is a medium, Paverpol is a medium.
Yeah, and you have developed, of course, your own style in the process, but as well as many new techniques that you can use this medium.
Yeah.
We are going to talk more about that. As you guys saw, she has several pieces around her, and we are going to be talking about each one individually. I just want to remind you that we are live and we love your interactions, so please interact with us and send questions when you have them. And you're going to be seeing on the lower third a few websites going through. These are websites where you can not only get more information about the products, but of course even get the products. So that you'd see three for this reason. You have the one for here in the United States, then mummification art is the one that Liz carries in Canada, and Paverpol.com is an international one, because Liz, we have many people here with us from different countries. So Paverpol.com is where you find the distributor in that specific country. So, you're not left out if you're not in the US or in Canada. There are distributors all over the world. So Liz, would you like to know the countries that are watching you right now? Because we
Yes,
call, we
yes.
call this Mondo. So the Mondo is US, UK, Canada, Hungary, South Africa, Ireland, Netherlands, Chile, Hong Kong, Belgium, Romania, Mexico, Australia, Greece, Germany, Bahamas, Ireland, and India with us today. So a lot of people, right? So go check where you have a distributor
That's
in your
awesome.
country. So Liz, let's
I'd
talk
just like
about,
to add
okay, yes, sure, go.
Shahar, because I know that I have my website. It's Mummification Art for Quebec, but in Canada it's paverpol.ca. Just want to rectify
Paverpol.ca,
that because, yeah,
because
for
you do
Canada.
have more than one distributor there, correct? I think
Yes,
three,
we are
if I'm not
six
wrong.
distributors.
Six,
Six
wow.
distributors, yes.
Wow,
So there's
nice.
two in Ontario, one in BC, and one in Saskatchewan, and we have one in. I'd have to look at the list right now.
Uh-huh.
Newfoundland, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
and
awesome, awesome. So
yeah,
paverpol.ca as well. So Liz, let's grab two or three pieces and talk about them before we
yeah.
go into some of the material you sent it to us.
Yes, okay. So right now I'd just like to talk about the enamel technique, probably because that's going to be one of the little demos that I showed for this interview. So this is my own innovation that I'm really, really proud of. Because in Quebec, I've been doing classes like with 30 people every 2 years. We do that, and it's a master class just for the Quebec, usually the Quebec teachers, and it's fun to find also with them a new subject, a new project for them to work with. So that the summer 2 years ago, I had been doing many experiences with this. So this is really, really fun and it's limitless. Right now, I'm
Uh-huh.
doing something else with the same technique. So basically, it's like an enamel piece that's shiny like that
It's
that you can see.
gorgeous.
So it's the skirt. So I'll show you some enamel pieces that I have ready on hand, which will be turned into a project. It can be cut into pieces or put this like this one on a statuette.
And is
So
uh,
the
is
30
this is this made with fabric, with textile?
Paverpol, only Paverpol transparent and Paver colors. And sometimes we can use acrylics too to mix in with it. But it was like I had to calculate the exact amount I wanted to do the sheet like this. I call it a skin. So I had to calculate the exact amount. I did numerous experiences, Shahar, before
I bet.
the thickness was what I wanted. It wasn't like breakable, because you can
Very
see there's
cool.
another one here. So
Wow,
it's
it's
really, really
gorgeous.
fun. So
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Wow.
So that's one technique that I'm not finished, doing experiences with. The latest technique that I really loved, and this was Josie DeRue that taught us to do the rust, faux fini. So
Okay.
I did this statuette with it.
Oh,
So you can see, and I innovated another way to do here you can see the skirt here.
uh-huh.
It does like a look of metal sheet effect,
Yes.
you know? So that you can turn whichever way you want it. You can fix on your statuette whichever way you want
Gorgeous.
it.
Uh-huh.
So
I
all
feel
the
like
rust
clapping for
technique,
you. I think it's so
well, thank you.
beautiful. Yes.
And you see the one behind me with the spoons, that's the kitchen girl.
Uh-huh.
So that's all done with the rust faux fini, and it's all because I saw it on the Facebook page, the Paverpol peeps. People were asking if Paverpol sticked on metal, because Paverpol doesn't stick like on plastic or anything unless the plastic is inserted into fabric. So, but the one you see here, it's all metal on a canvas, and that's going to be. I know that you've seen it, Shahar, because I sent
Uh-huh.
the files. It's going to be another tutorial for
Yes.
you. So it's all metal, and I did add a bit of fabric underneath, but it's all done with Paverpol Black.
Uh-huh.
Paverpol Black with other related products with Paverpol and the rest faux fini, which
That's
is
very cool.
really, I love it. Every time I do experiences with a new technique, then it's nonstop. I really
Yeah.
love, yeah.
I
So
really
there it
love
is. I
that.
think
That's
it's
very
okay.
cool. So,
Yes.
before we show more pieces, because I know what people love to see is really how you create and what you create, but you sent us a small city tour of where you are located,
Yeah.
and this is something we want from everybody in this show when they come, to show a little bit of where they live, because Liz, I don't know if you agree with me, but despite the medium, art not only brings us together, but is a vehicle of showing different cultures and the beauty of
Yeah.
diversity, right? We need to embrace diversity because it can only enrich us and never set us apart, but enrich us. So Liz did a small city tour of Montreal, and we are going to watch that right now.
Welcome to Montreal. I am Lise Cécile, Paverpol distributor for Quebec, and this is Montreal, Montreal City. We're on the Mount Royal Belvedere, and you can see the St. Lawrence River over there, and all of the Montreal beautiful buildings that we have. And we have a painting of a tribute to Leonard Cohen. We'll try to take a video of that as well. So we are on the Mount Royal Belvedere. This is another great viewpoint of Montreal. You can see Pont Jacques-Cartier with the St. Lawrence River again. And our Olympic Stadium, where the Summer Olympics in '76 took place. Montreal is renowned for its bagels. It's one of the icons of food in Montreal. So we're arriving on a cobble street in Old Montreal. It's the most popular tourist spot in the city, as well as the most historical. This cobblestone district is the original site of the city's French colonial origins. And here you can see Marché Bon Secours, and that is where all everything arrive on by ship here at Marché Bon Secours. We're arriving soon at the Place Jacques-Cartier, where there's a lot in the summer. It's really the place to be. There's a lot of music and street performers. It's really beautiful. Lots of things going on in the summer. In Saint-Anne-de-Belleville, there are many restaurants, and this is one of my favorite restaurants, and I'm inviting you in. Come and see the herons Dominique, the owner of the restaurant, has bought from me. See the two golden herons that have spent all of winter here. And they're all beautiful and perfect still, so I'm very happy to see them doing well. So we're still in the cobble streets. Here is Montreal poutine. This is also an icon in Montreal. Tourists around the world can't not go to Montreal poutine if they come here. They have to go. You can see all of the old buildings and the historical buildings we have. It dates far back as the 17th century, and they're all well preserved. And we are now in the old port of Montreal on the St. Lawrence River. This is where the Paverpol arrives by ship, by cargo ship. Not exactly here, but more down east in the port of Montreal. But it arrives here by cargo ship, and then it is distributed by truck in the other provinces in Canada. But I'm the lucky one because I live in Montreal and it's right here. And you can see there, those buildings are a masterpiece of architecture. They were built back in 1967 for Expo 67. Expo 67. It was one of the most popular World Fair in the 20th century.
Beautiful, beautiful. I hope to visit there someday. I told you that I have a sister that doesn't live far from you. So yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you so much for doing this tour. Beautiful city. Have
It
you
was
ever?
still
Go
it
ahead.
was still cold a week, 2 weeks ago, I think. So we don't have any snow right now. It's gone, all gone now.
Oh, good. And have you ever lived there?
And you mean downtown?
No, in Montreal. Have you always lived in Montreal?
Oh, yes, I've always lived in Montreal. I was born in Montreal, yes.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
And what's the temperature there right now?
Right now we have like a hot wave, so it's going to be 16 degrees this afternoon. So it's
Uh-huh.
perfect. Oh my gosh, yeah. Sunny and perfect.
That's good. That's good. Now, Liz, I know
Yeah.
that usually you give in-person classes, and I think you have a studio where you do that. Right now, I know that's not possible. I guess you guys are on a lockdown again. But tell
Yeah.
me a little bit how your classes usually work and what you teach on those.
So I give a lot of classes for basic classes. I always give some because people, reach out to me to just learn how to do the statuette. So that's a 1 day class. I used to sometimes teach it in two afternoons or 2 mornings, but it's nice to do it in a whole day. So it's like, only 6 to 7 hours of class. And then I teach also class for the certified teachers, and that's a 2 day
Explain what
class.
it is, certified teacher.
Yeah. So the certified teachers, they learned how to make like all of this. This is the example of the statuette on the first day. And they learn how to work with the wrappers, because most of the people in the first day class, the basic class, they learn how to mummify the statuette with old t-shirts. That's the, basic class, and that's really fun because everybody has old t-shirts at home, and it's good for them to know what to do with just t-shirts and Paverpol. But on the certified teachers class, they learn how to use the wrappers. And all of the not all of them because there's too much. Most of the related products we work with, like Paverplast, how to do the Paverpol mix, how to make the crackled paste. You see the little bolero that she has here. It's made with crackled paste. And how to work the relief decoration, which is one fabric I really love. I did a class actually with that on canvas when I did the network canvas with the with the fiber art symposium.
Yes.
So that's the class. Yeah, that I worked a lot with the relief decoration for that canvas.
True,
And
true.
they learn how to work with every, how to make a base made with art stone, a full fini of art stone. So they learn a lot. It's a lot in 2 days actually, but they all love it, and they go back home with two beautiful pieces,
Oh,
and
yes.
they're certified. They're certified, and they give classes after that
So they can give
at their
classes
home.
after that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I have a few comments and questions for you. Bree saying this is fascinating. Penny Platt, thanks for sharing your skills. Rosie Pieper saying the former one you showed, it does look like metal. I think is the
Okay.
for rust. Rose Pontillo, what is it? Thin copper wetting that you have on the rust one?
The restaurant, the what? She
I
asked.
think, well, she asked, what is it? Thin copper wetting? I think this one, yes.
Okay, well, that's all made. That's really all made of aluminum paper,
Wow.
actually. Aluminum paper, and there's some wires in it. So it's really something I innovated myself too, this one. And it's infinite what we can do now with it, because, Paverpol, when I first learned of it, was really fabric.
Uh-huh.
Like you saw, and I loved it. I like to wrinkle the fabric on a statuette, and but after that, when you've done the first basic class with fabric, you like to use other
Other
techniques other
things,
than
yeah.
fabric too. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a textile hardener, but it hardens other things too.
Uh-huh.
Not just textile.
Yeah. And then you have to explore, right?
Yeah,
Regan is
yeah.
saying, how is Paverpol different from PVA glue?
It's not a glue. No, people sometimes, I don't know what PVA glue though, but it's really not a glue, and there's nothing that compares to it, really. So it's really, it's not a glue at all, and it's not toxic. Maybe
That's
that's the
important.
most important thing I have to say. And it hardens like in one day. Like when I give a basic class in the morning, they build up the statuette, out of aluminum foil to make the forms and everything, and then they mummify it with wraps, t-shirt strips, and in the afternoon it starts to harden. Like in 2 to 3 hours, it starts to harden. So at the end of the day, it's hard when you touch it. I don't know about the glue, so that may be the difference, because our product hardens quite fast. So
And plus
the next day it's hard.
you could leave this in the weather like you showed the herons, and you wouldn't be
Yeah,
able to do that
yeah,
with PVA glue. Gisele
probably, yeah.
Cabral, sorry? Is-
Yeah, I said probably, yeah.
Yeah. Gisele Cabral, hello. Liz is an excellent teacher. I've taken several live classes with her, and she changed my life. Brenda Helfrich, Liz, do you drive on the left in Montreal?
Oh, in Montreal, no, voyons, we drive on the right side,
Okay, good.
not on the left, no.
Bree saying, Liz, the enamel technique is amazing. Will you be teaching it soon, please?
Yeah, I'd love to, because that's why I talk about it in the interview, because I
Yes.
really I gave lots of classes already, and I intend to make more. Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
yeah.
Elena is saying, can you mix Paverpol and polymer clay, sculpt the doll in polymer clay or paper clay, and dress her in fabric with Paverpol?
Yes, you'd have to put the Paverpol on top of the clay before you dress her, though. So I would suggest to use also Paverplast, because that kind of clay may be a little bit more fragile. So what I used to do before I learned how to do the rose clay, that's the clay we make ourselves with Paverpol, I used to work with, just ordinary clay, air drying clay. And I used to put one coat of Paverpol after I finished doing my forms, and then two coats of Paverplast mix, and then another coat of Paverpol, just to make sure that it's not going to break.
Okay. Sarah Mason wants to know what you need to buy to get the rust look.
So for the rust look, you can use black or gray. This one is made with black underneath all of this, and I did use the rose clay that I made myself too. That's why all of the you don't see the mummification of the strips of the cotton on it. It's all made with the rose clay that we make with Paverpol products. And then you need Paverplastin art stone. You need sienna Pavercolor. You need sea blue Pavercolor. And you need acrylic, that's the burnt umber also. So I think that's mostly it.
Kathy is asking, have you ever added Paverpol to a porcelain object as the underlying base instead of tin, foil, or fabric?
I'm not sure I understand the question. On a porcelain object?
Have you ever added Paverpol to a porcelain object as the underlying base instead of making of tin foil or fabric? So I believe she gets a porcelain and then uses the Paverpol on top.
I guess it would work because Paverpol sticks on glass. I'll show you here. I did that class not so long ago with you guys, Curious Mondo, and it's all glass and it's sticked to the glass, see? So yeah, you can do that. Maybe porcelain is, shiny. There's something I haven't tried myself, so I'm not sure what she means exactly. But it goes a lot on top of lots of things. Yeah, you'd have to try.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I say to people, try it.
Yeah. And of course, if you want to know about Liz's classes online, curiousmondo.com, instant access courses, will look for her by instructor and you will see her courses. Now, when you're playing with Paverpol and you decide to turn this into a hobby or even into a business if you get the certification to teach, storage can become a thing, right? So Liz has prepared a video for us talking about that part. Let's watch.
And here is my Paverpol liquid boxes that it's all stored here on these stacked here on these shelves. So that's the space I primarily use for the liquid Paverpol. So this is where I leave my Paverpol related products. I had shelves to stack them on. They were already here, luckily for me. So this is all the stacks of shelves for all the related products relating to Paverpol.
You're very organized. I like that.
Yeah, you need to be when you're a distributor. I have to say, when I was a teacher, you don't need so much products if you're just a certified teacher. But if you're a distributor, you need to have more products for sure.
Yes, that's true. Brenda is saying, I love relief decoration. Gwendolyn Domingo, do you give online classes? I can answer that. Yes, she does. CuriousMondo.com. Not only on instant access courses, you have the past courses that she's given here. She was part of the Fiber Symposium from last year. She has more coming, so check on upcoming as well. Melody Carr, I wish she was handling it while she talked about it. What do you want us to handle? She will show more pieces now. Yeah, awesome. So let's see. You have that beautiful blue lady behind you. Talk to us about the technique that you use, the one that has a hat.
Okay, I have my light that went off, but anyways, I'll check it out after.
You're looking good.
Yeah, okay. So the blue lady, I mean, with the porcelain, the porcelain, I'll have this one here. Maybe this one, yeah.
Oh, yes.
This
Uh-huh.
one is really, yeah, that's a technique I also developed. Again, it was Josie DeRue that taught us that in some master classes we took with her a couple years ago. And it was infinite for me. I'll show you another one I made with this one. So it's all done with Paverpol transparent. See, I have two. And you can do like all of the clothing, like on this one here, the one with the bag, the shopping bag. I call her the shopaholic.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
all made like the pants. It's not fabric. You see, it's all made with aluminum foil. It's a special technique though that you have to do with the foil for it to be stiff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all printed napkins. So
Wow.
it's a special technique you have to learn. It's infinite what you can do. It's really, really fun. When I started that, again, it was something I gave in a class also in Quebec in a master class here, like to 30 people at least. So, and I'll show you some more that I gave with Curious Mondo I have here on hand.
Oh
So this
yeah.
is done with yeah, that's a ballerina I showed in one of the classes. And it's the Paverpol peach tone, we call it. It's really skin tone. It's just they call it peach now. But it's made with just that and relief decoration for the skirt. So relief decoration I really love because you can have it stand up like that, stiff,
Mm-hmm.
or it can be on a statuette very, close to her body if you want. And you see the little bolero was made with Paversand. So that's another product that I really love when that went out. I think it was in 2016. I did like so many stuff with Paversand.
Uh-huh.
You can do like lots of texture. The hair is done with Paversand as well. And, I'll show you another piece I made here that's different. I think nobody really saw it. That's a piece that's quite heavy, but I put it beside me. So it's all done with Pavesan. See all the
Oh,
texture?
wow.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that's really, really something. So this piece was a bit longer to do because I wanted the Pavesan to drip like that, behind her. So I had to leave her lying down on two bricks, and this was like in the air. There was a
Mm-hmm.
space between the two bricks, so that's why it did all those dripping that stayed like that. So it's
Gorgeous.
really, really, yeah. So that's different too.
Would this
So
piece be
I'll
safe
just
in the
look.
weather as well?
Yes, yes,
Y-
because I made lots of herons with lots of textures like that. Some small, I call them table herons. They're not like the big ones you saw
Uh-huh.
outside. They're a bit smaller. No, it's outside, sorry. It's outside in the garden. It's been there like for 4 or 5 years outside actually, in
Uh-huh.
the summer and winter. And it has lots of texture and it never changed. And I sold a lot of them. Those herons, I sell them in a gallery.
Okay.
They're really popular. They're
Give
smaller
us
than
an
the big
idea.
ones.
Give us an idea of price, for example, for these small herons.
I think those herons are 650 Canadian dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very
I
cool.
think so. Well, I would have to check, Shahar, but I think that's the price.
But that's an idea for people. And what about
Yeah.
a statuette just like the one you showed us?
Well, this one would be the same price because it takes the same amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
But if I make a small statuette that's a bit like easier to do, then it's maybe half that price.
Okay.
If you
Uh,
make them too high, you won't sell them. So you have to,
that's true.
be careful not to. Yeah.
And where do you usually sell them? Do you sell online, in galleries, shows? What's
I
your
usually
process?
sell them in galleries and shows. Yeah,
Hmm.
shows.
Very good. Jane Meyer
Right now it's been
Bowles,
hard though.
say it again.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Right now it's been hard
Oh
because
yeah,
there's no shows that have been going on.
yeah. Hopefully soon. Jane
Yeah.
Blows, what is the product in the squeeze bottle on the right hand of your bookshelf? Do you have a
Squeeze
product?
bottle.
Yes. on
No, I don't.
the right-hand side of the book. Well, okay, doesn't matter.
Maybe it's not behind me. It must be, no.
Okay, Melody Carr is saying, I just wanted to see her handling Paverpol. Maybe open a container. I did not realize until a minute ago that it is a liquid, like a liquid. We have a tutorial coming up, so you will see, right? Peeper, I love the ballerina. I watched her being made and loved it. Let's do something. You prepare a studio tour as well, right? For us?
Yes.
So let's take a watch on how Liz works.
As you can see, this is where I give the Paverpol workshops. And if I bring the 3 tables together, then we can sit up to 6 people, 7 including me, and everybody has enough space to work on. And I have my sink here, which is very handy for Paverpol, as you all know. Right now, I'm exhibiting, I'm preparing for an exhibition, and all my statues, I brought them all in my workshop to visualize and to see which ones I will exhibit. So you can visit with me. So all of the techniques I've worked with are shown here. This is the latest technique, the rust technique, and I made a video tutorial for that one. It will be ready soon. And those are all of my statues stacked on the shelves there. There's really a whole lot, so I do need to exhibit them, that's for sure. And right here, this is the space where I stack all the Paverpol products and the related products we use for my own use and for my workshop. So that's what I need when I work with. Not more than that, because I have, other spaces in the house to stock all of the products I need for the distributors. But in my workshop, that's all really that I need. And I will show a short demo of the enamel technique. This is the technique that I've innovated 2 years ago. I was supposed to go in Holland to teach it, but then I made a tutorial for that one, and I'm going to make more tutorials. And so this is the short demo. It will be on the enamel technique. It's really a colorful technique that you can make with that. It's really fun. So this is it. So this is the infinite room, and maybe one day you'll come and visit me in this beautiful infinite room.
Liz, we all want to go there someday. It's
Yes,
really a
I would
happy
love
place.
that.
Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh, yes, it is.
The studio is in your house, correct? So you have access right now?
Yes.
Okay. We have some
Yeah.
artists that the studio is not in the house, so due to quarantine or lockdown, they cannot access at the moment. But yours is
Oh,
there, right?
luckily for me, yes.
Good. Uh, let me see here. The squeeze bodies. Okay, supply. Oh, I think she was looking at your storage, and she saw some
Oh,
squeeze bottles there.
yeah, those are the 250 millimeters of Paverpol.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a small sample if you like if people just want to try it, then they can use that, and if they just want a small quantity, but we really stock them much less of them because we really sell the 1,000-gram containers.
1,000-gram container would be enough to how many pieces if I'm creating
You
the
could make like
statuettes?
3. You can make 3 statuettes like this. So
Okay.
this is a statuette that's all made with fabric. So that's mostly like the fabric, the basic class. So you can see that, she's all made with fabric with the black Paverpol. So a 1,000-gram container, you can make approximately 3 statuettes like this.
So good, pretty
Yes.
good. Yeah. Jane is saying, I am in awe with the beauty of your pieces. Peeper, I'm enthralled with those ladies that look like they are wearing porcelain. Will she be doing a class on this on Mondo? We have a ton store for you. Don't worry about that.
I know, I think I'll be working a long time.
Yes. So Liz, let's show a couple more pieces before we go into the tutorial.
Okay.
And guys, this is the last chance you have to be asking questions. So if you have any questions, send them over right now. We want to, first of all, of course, thank you being here and interacting with us. Just a reminder that you see some sites on the bottom of the screen. Paverpol America, of course, is for the United States. Mummificationart.com is Liz's website. There is also paverpol.ca if you're in Canada, in a different place. And paverpol.com, you go under distributors, and you will see a list of where the distributors are in the whole world. So wherever you are, you can get it. So go take a look. And also don't forget that next week, also Thursday at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, we'll be back here with Brenda Helfrich from South Africa. And then she's going to talk to her about her town and her art as well. So let's see, Liz, some of your pieces. It's so exciting every time you look. For me, if I had to define Liz in one word, would be refinement. That's what I see coming from all your pieces.
Well, thank you. It's really something that I've developed in a lot of years, because my first statuettes weren't as refined, but they were like more rough looking, like everybody when they start Paverpol, and then I became more and more, like you say, perfectionist with the human body. And in some of the classes I taught on Curious Mondo, I did.
I have no sound.
No, you don't hear me? Do you hear me?
Yes, everything's fine.
Okay. So in Curious Mondo, I did lots of a few classes where I showed a lot of the accents on human proportions. Oh. So here I'll show you one that I made with, I think I showed it on one of the classes. It's all made with granite, this one too. So it's really fun to work the granite. And all of the clothing is made with aluminum foil. So it's another technique that I did with the same thing as the girl you saw with the porcelain technique. Mm-hmm. So it's the same technique we use for the clothing. So it's not fabric, it's all aluminum foil, and you can use the granite over it, or you can use the porcelain technique. Or even another technique too. Sorry about that. I'm just putting some more. So I'll show you one more. This one too, you can see it here.
Gorgeous.
Well, eh? Yeah, so you can make it wave like that. It does a more modern look, actually, than the basic statuette, which I still love, by the way. This is one other that I love with the fabric. It's really nice because what I like about the fabric that you put Paverpol on is all the wrinkles it does, all of the texture that you can make with the textiles, different textile you use. So again, it's infinite. It's really an infinite medium. I have one more that I want to show because it's a class I'll show with Curious Mondo next summer. I'll just hold it because it's never good to hold a statuette like that. You have to hold it by the base all the time. Okay. So be careful because it's still, especially this one is heavy. So I gave lots of classes on this technique. So what I basically do, I ask the girls to find a base that they like and bring it. And then when we make the statuette, we try to make the crackled paste you see here that's serving as her clothing. So we try to do that the same color as the base. Wow. So then they use Pavercolors to make that. So this one I used some Pavercolor white and light yellow ochre. And it's all done with the ArtStone paste that's on top of her body. So she's not mummified with striped t-shirt. She's mummified with the clay, Paverpol clay.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that's going to be shown.
Yes, July 5 to 7, we will be live.
Yeah.
And when Curious Mondo broadcasts a class or a full course, you can watch everything for free. So if you go to upcoming courses on Curious Mondo, put your name and email so you get the reminders. You don't forget about that. I think we are already showing it went there for a second. But we are going to show this tutorial. But before we do, tell us, Liz, what you cover in this tutorial.
I only cover how to put the skirt on because that's a tutorial I will be showing with probably with you, Curious Mondo. So I don't want to divulge that, it's still a secret.
Okay, good.
But I show the piece that I made with the Paverpol. So this is all Paverpol and Paver colors and a bit of acrylic. And I show how to fix it on the statuette. So that's at the stage that you see, that's what you'll see.
Yes. During these interviews, all the tutorials are very short, but it gets you to an introduction on the product. So, for example, you're going to be seeing her using the Paverpol. So that's what we are going for here, not to teach the whole thing, but to show how the products are used, correct?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So let's watch.
Okay, so now this is done. All my cracks have been painted in with the copper. I've also dry brushed my wood base and with the same champagne, metallic champagne. And now I will fix my figurine, my statuette, so it will be fixed forever. I have my same Paverplast mix that we had when we did the wrappers. And I will simply pour some in the hole with a small brush, or you can even take anything you have to just pour it in. And I will add some here on the metal rod. This will take time to dry, but it's okay. It will be very, very sturdy. Maybe take some of the excess off. Okay, so that's done. Now the skirt. I have my other mix of Paverplast prepared with transparent. Again, it's just like a thick Paverplast mix you need to make. And I will look again how I'm going to dress her. Once I'm really, really certain, then that's when I'll apply some Paverplast. It needs to be like really well, applied on the figurine. Okay. Okay, so I've decided to put her very high on her body, and I've also cut rounded edges because all of my others had rounded edges. That's the only reason. You can do whatever you want, and again, this piece can also serve as a top piece if you prefer, or you can do two. I suggest when you do the pouring technique, you make two trays and make two mixes of enamel, so then you can decide whatever you want. So now I will apply some Paverplast here. My thick Paverplast mix, a little bit here too. Not sure what is going to be touching the body, but I know that it's up to here. So you have to put it on both surfaces. In the back, I know my skirt is going to be more touching everywhere, so I might as well put some there too. And this will, be more transparent when it's going to be drying. So it's a go. And now here too, you need to apply some here and here just a little bit. It's already sticking. So this is a very hot arts and craft dryer. It's not a hair dryer, but it's very hot. It can even, burn my fingers. But once I do it just a little bit, it really sticks fast to it. But a hair dryer, very hot hair dryer will work also. It's just more noisy. So I prefer this one. Okay.
That's cool. So actually, you're using the Paverpol there, the mix, as a glue, right? To make sure it
Yes,
sticks.
exactly,
That's very
exactly.
cool. And that's the final
It
piece
really
that you have with
sticks.
you.
Yes, I wanted to show it. So here she is with all done, and the bolero is really done with little glass beads, and it's
Oh,
a special way to do it as well. And I did the hat the same way. It's just a cut piece of the enamel. I cut it. It's another enamel piece that I had done, and I just cut it like that and fixed it with Paverplas mix. And she's
simply
all done
gorgeous.
with wrappers. She's
Nice.
mummified with wrappers, and I wanted her thin. So if you want like a thinner material on, on the hands and legs and arms, wrappers is a bit thinner than the t-shirts strips.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Now, for a person that is interested, so as they are watching, and maybe like me, what attracts me so much to this medium, first of all, I love textiles, so I can use textiles in a whole different way. It also allows us really to work with mixed media. Like you said, you have small beads there, you use aluminum. So it's really infinite possibilities that you have here. It's very attractive. And the end pieces are gorgeous. So if a person is starting, okay, I'm going to take a course and I think I'm going to go down this road. What kind of investment will they be making with products itself just to get started?
Well, they would need, I would buy like just 1,000 gram, maybe 100 gram of Paverplast, and even not, like if they want to just start the normal statuette, you just need Paverpol actually. You don't need the Paverplast because people think that we absolutely need Paverplast to add after you've done the statuette, on the statuette, but to make it go outside, but you don't. If you do use a good t-shirt, then you don't need the Paverplast. So it's only Paverpol, fabric, old t-shirts, and maybe you need some, not maybe, you need some electrical wires. It's not really costly.
No, not
Sorry,
at all.
Ashar, I have the cost somewhere. I would have to look, but it's really not costly at all. Maybe $20 to do a statuette. That's what it would cost you
Which
to
is
make one
nothing.
small one.
It's nothing to get
No,
started on a new journey, really, a new medium. So, of
no,
course, the
no.
prices will vary depending on the country you're in, but it's a
Yeah.
very, very small investment for something that is very addicting, right?
Yeah, because you can use recycled objects. When you first start, you can make a sitting one using a rock for her to sit on. Then you don't even need the iron rod for her to stand up. Because if you want a statuette standing up like this one, she has in her leg an iron rod. So that's a 3/16-inch iron rod that you buy. It's 1 meter long. You can cut it the size you want. But if you don't have that, you can have her sit on a base that you have, a broken brick or a rock, whatever you have. So it's really fabric and Paverpol for your first ones. That's what I would suggest.
And in most cases, it is safe to put outside. I think the exception is with the transparent, correct?
Yeah, because the transparent, if you use, we use the transparent to unprinted fabrics, or we tint it with our own, with the Paver colors. But then there's some colors that are, harder, that are easier to being affected by the UV rays. And if you use a printed fabric, you don't know if that fabric has good quality in it, and it can change with the, even if you varnish it. I wouldn't suggest it to put it outside, no.
Okay. Leslie's asking, I assume it's air dried?
Yes, it dries by the air, but you can activate it with a hair dryer
Sally
while you're
Mason,
working.
Sally Mason is asking, could you show the enamel look one more time? I love that style.
Yeah, I'll show her another one. That's my first one I made.
Okay, let me see here. Beautiful stat. We have a lot of beautiful, awesome. This is gorgeous. Rose Pontini is saying, something enamel, excited for the class. I love the colors. Okay. Do the enamel pieces need to have varnish added in case you put them outside?
I would not put them outside, not my enamel pieces, because I don't want to affect the enamel sheen on the you see the nice sheen it has, because if you put a varnish, then maybe the varnish would show because it's really, really shiny. So I would not put the enamel pieces outside. Every other, you can mostly, every other you can put outside, but there are some sculptures that, can be left inside. So.
And Pieper wants to know, for the class that we have coming in July, how to create artstone clay statuette with a bird, what does she need to have material-wise when the class comes up?
I think a nice base, because it will be good to do a sitting one. It's easier maybe for people. And Paverpol, I'm using for that one a mix of Paverpol bronze and black. So it does the antique bronze look. As you saw, it's behind me there, but it has the antique bronze look then. And you need artstone, that's for sure. Did that with hockey tape or wrappers. Wrappers could be good as well, because we do the clay on top of the wrappers. And I'll just look at it to help me. Yeah, that's about all. Well, electrical wire for sure, and aluminum foil, because I always forget, but because they're always there. You always need electrical wire for statuettes and aluminum foil.
As the armature, right?
Yeah, the armature.
Liz, any final words to our folks watching you today?
Yes, I'd like again to emphasize the fact that it's a medium we work with, and it's infinite medium. I myself am not finished exploring with Paverpol. I constantly have ideas. It's never ending in my head. So I think that's all I want to say is people, I sometimes see people that are a little bit afraid of starting something, or, asking me, sometimes they email me, do you think this will work? Do you think that? I just want to tell them, just try it also, because it's, don't be scared. Just one day you want to create, you're not sure what, then just do something, out of the blue. You don't need to always be tutored also to try something. It's good to just go ahead and try it, and don't be afraid.
Yes.
Have fun, mostly.
I think that's how you discover so many new techniques, correct, with this medium?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Awesome. Thank you so
Exactly.
much. Liz, I feel like I've been in your home. You introduced me to your beautiful
Yes.
city, and I learned so much. So thank you very much for being here with us.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And of course, thank you very much for being here, interacting, sending questions. So I hope you have learned a lot. Maybe you're new to Paverpol, maybe you have already experimented a lot, but the fact is that you had a different approach and introduction to this medium. If it's your first time, well, those websites that you see at the bottom of the video, you are going to know all the line of products and, of course, how it works in the different ones. Paverpolamerica.com for the US, mummificationart.com to know more about Liz and her pieces and her courses, of course. Also, paverpol.ca, other distributors in Canada, paverpol.com. Click on distributors, and you're going to see the list. There is one there for you, not only to sell products, but to teach you how to use this medium. And of course, if you're interested in making a career out of this, like Liz does, they all offer certifications as well. In our case, curiousmondo.com, you have all the information for the certification, and Liz, as well as other Paverpol instructors, we have a list of courses that you can take to get started. Wow, a lot for you, right? I hope you note that down. But if you didn't, don't fret, because this stays on. This interview will live wherever you're watching now. So you can rewatch, you can send to people, you can show people around you. I've experienced here in the US the fact that it's still a medium to be explored full force, which gives you the opportunity probably to be the only artist in your area doing this. How cool is that? How many times does that happen, right? So it allows you to sell your pieces on art shows, on galleries, to teach. So take a look at all this, because you won't regret. You're going to fall in love with this. Don't forget, the next Thursday, I'll be back here, and this time we were invited to know South Africa. So we are going to see the city, talk to Brenda, and learn a lot with the tutorial as well. So join me again next week. And for those of you that know Curious Mondo, in about an hour, we are back here with a fast track course. So tune in. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time.